Hey guys, it's Matt. The We Are Gathered Here Today show to get through this thing called life is typically a hodgepodge of a lot of different topics, subscriber emails to me, things that need to be shared, mini reality conversations, ridiculous news stories. I'll get to a few of those in just a moment. But remember, this is from Let's Go Crazy Prince. It's a Mandela effect for a lot of people, not for me, not at all. Prince says, "We are gathered here, dearly beloved," from David Bowie Island. "We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life." People say it's a Mandela effect. Remember, celebrate. Not to me, but with the Mandela effect, my reality is not your reality. It's just wrong to say, no, I remember as a kid, I played Purple Rain every day. That's not how the Mandela effect works. It might have always been, and for me and for you, to get through. It makes more sense. He's going to say something quirky. I don't think he's going to, whatever. This is not a Mandela effect conversation, but it is for a lot of people to get through this thing called life. And I particularly like this as the title for this themed video because I like doing this when I feel particularly beaten up, but that's every other day at this point, just beaten up. I have to turn on the news from time to time. I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like, we used to just feel beaten up like, I don't know, once a month or something. Now it's every other day, completely feeling beaten up. Calgon, let me just get away. How can we get away? We have to start talking about the not milk-free zone again. All right, guys. So this is Bill's poster, of course, Amish classroom setting. Can you tell what I added versus what Bill did? It's like, yeah, Matt, leave your greasy paws off Bill's poster, making your little Gathered Here Today show opening. Leave your greasy paws off his great work. Yeah, I tried to make this into the We Are Gathered Here Today poster for the show, and it didn't work, but I'm going to go with it anyway. And thanks again for the poster, Bill. I tuned into 6 ABC Action News in Philadelphia yesterday to get the weather. There's this severe line of thunderstorms batten down the hatches coming in Wednesday. They're already starting to scare us about that. But the top story when it came on, measles outbreak. Oh, measles outbreak? What, hundreds of high schools closed? What's going on? I don't pay attention to the news. All the hospitals overflowing with people with tents outside in the parking lot? One case. What? Measles confirmed in unvaccinated Montgomery County child. That little son of a bitch. How dare. Oh, he exposed his high school. Oh, that high school shouldn't take him back. How many cases? Overflowing hospitals? One. My bad. One. Other people may have been exposed. Holy shit. Is anybody listening to the words coming out of my mouth considering going out at all today? I hope you have enough food in the house. Give me a break. Let me tell you, how many measles is old? Like measles, what was that vaccination as a kid? You get the measles MMR, you get the measles, mumps, rubella. I looked it up. How many deaths from measles before the vaccination came? I don't know. I got it in the 70s or something. How many? I haven't kept up with no boosters, and I don't know if you have to do that. I ain't going to say, Doc, can I get more boosters for the? I don't. How many? You know how many died? The same from the common cold and flu. Even some statistics show less death than from the common cold and flu in a flu season. It's just a regular illness, just like 20 other things. The main story was one case, and there's two cases I think in New York City. If there's one, that's a real concern, but there's two. That's the new definition of pandemic. This came from Bill today. Most people don't realize there's been hundreds of different species of aliens that have come here to Earth and found there's nothing left to do. In fact, it's already been enslaved, and then they actually stay quiet, and they hide behind rocks, and they learn new tactics from the George Soroses of the world and the Not Milk and its minions. So we're too late. These Earth people are already enslaved. Grow clones of their influencers so we can learn their evil ways. They study the not milk. The not milk is the highest evolution that these aliens have ever seen in the universe of enslaving a population. Because you don't need force. It's the Brave New World Huxley. You get everybody around to love their enslavement. That's what these aliens don't realize. These people are all enslaved and they're loving. They're McLoving it. How did they pull this shit off? Typically, we have to do it by force, and there's the Borg out there, and all these different. By the way, I don't think no spaceships come from no space. Anybody new here? Nobody flies through space in anything. Captain Kirk ain't ever gonna visit Spock or nothing like that. It's all bullcrap. We don't know what space is. But I just got to do that for the new people. Aliens coming like interdimensionally, that's a possibility as far as I'm concerned. But flying spaceships past Jupiter and Saturn and coming in from out there, that's ridiculous. That's impossible. They know it. I don't know why they even started that ruse in the first place. Remember we did our pitch meeting? Why did they start that ruse in the first place? Because then you have to keep it going. I don't know, maybe that's part of something they have to, part of their contract. They have to keep up 5, 6, 7, 8 ridiculous ruses at the same time in order to remain in power. I don't know. Interdimensionally, makes more sense. What are all these particle colliders for? Each one is trying to study the original origins of the universe. Oh, really? You smash a few particles together, and every single time you do it, that just tells you about how the universe was formed, but then you need like hundreds of these particle colliders over there. Who knows what they're for? Until somebody tells me or shows me in a convincing manner what it really does, it's no different than Geordie Rose's snow cone D-Wave machine. This is an email that Brenton recently sent me, and it's probably too small for most of you to read, but I'm going to read it to you in just a moment. Long-haul truckers, 2 hands on the wheel, eyes up. I'm going to read it to you. He says, anyway, the thing that really started to settle in with me were the commercials. Now, let me give 30-second backstory on this. He went to see a friend who was watching Grit TV that has all the old Westerns, the same Westerns that are shown on my channel. It's called Me TV, that shows all the old ones, like they're All in the Family, MASH, The Jeffersons, all the old stuff is on Me TV, but they have like a Western Saturday where they show, what are some of them? Bonanza, I think that's with Michael Landon, Have Gun Will Travel, Wagon Train, The Rifleman, How the West Was Won. There's tons of these 30-minute old 60s and 70s Westerns. Okay, he's watching Grit with a friend. I don't think Brenton typically watches Grit at home. I realize the median age for Grit TV viewers has to be, they have to be 70-some years old or 80-some years old. But every single commercial was for pharmaceuticals, Medicare, and bathroom remodels. I've been seeing a lot of that when I go by Me TV, Brenton. Bathroom remodels. The commercial that must have played 100 times while I was there for heart medication, I think, where the music mimicked the 80s song Listen to Your Heart by Roxette. I'm sure you remember, we're the same age. Luckily, Brent and I don't remember that song from Roxette, and I'm glad I never looked into it for the reasons coming up. Because they either couldn't use the song directly for royalties or copyright, or for some reason the commercial used certain key notes from the song, Listen to Your Heart, from the beginning of the song, which would trigger the song inside the listener's head. If you go listen to the song, the first couple of piano notes are the same, used in the commercial, etc. By the time I left watching Grit with my friend, the song was stuck in my head. Even when I wake up at night, I'd have Listen to Your Heart stuck in my head on loop. That's exactly why I didn't listen to it, Brenton. I started to realize that what those commercials are doing is causing a problem, or at least subconsciously trying to get the viewer to worry they might have some kind of problem, which causes the problem. It's gone way past offering a product or service to address a real problem or to fix something. Now they're creating the problems. Now I know some of the old guard wants to give Brenton a Pootie Tang Award, and we know that these side effects, the 30 to 45 seconds listed out in a commercial, actually assists in creating the problem, getting people to expect these nasty side effects. But the way, this was interesting, Brenton had noticed actually using subliminal clues in a song. I mean, this is unique. So don't hold back the Pootie Tang Award. And I'm going to remove this image, just one page of, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of pages of the side effects associated with certain drugs. Just one page of hundreds and hundreds of all this. We find now that the drug side effects are worse than the condition it's trying to treat. Pootie Tang Award on me. Let's continue this for a few more minutes. The real reasons behind the disgusting list of drug side effects. But I'm not going to put any more horrible, wretched images up of the pharmaceutical industry. Let's just go back to Bill's poster. Why does everybody feel the need to do that? And even like the movie reviewers, they'll tell you how horrible Captain America Brave New World is tanking, and then they'll have the same loops of the same trailer over and over again. Just put a picture of a bunny rabbit up. Or, I want to hear what you have to say about how the movie's tanking. I don't need to see, you have to match what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. Just put Bill's posters up no matter what we're talking about. So I'm certainly not going to put up more disgusting drug company side effects. But guys, I might have mentioned this, but we're talking about it now. I have to mention it. They always, every year, they go to a new low in terms of the 45 seconds or 30 to 45 seconds of side effects that are at the end of every single drug commercial. And I said, well, this could take a little while. This is probably not just going to be a few minutes. But the new low I mentioned a few weeks ago is infection is possible between anus and genitals. I went, what? I don't know what the drug was. I don't care. It was a pretty big drug you've seen advertised for a few years or so. And I never heard of that side effects. Infection is possible. I don't know how they put it, between anus and genitals. Now that's a new low, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I even had to say it. But that's what it said. I had to tell you. I can't say apples and oranges, and you know what I mean. I had to say it. And Rudy, per your videos, I agree with you that every time you turn around, there's more. We'll just use the word, is it scatological? Scatological means like in reference to excrement, and you find it in Hollywood. It's all over the place all the time. But what bugs me, as I've mentioned this before, even the movie reviewers now, led by the critical drinker. I'm sorry, 30 seconds, we'll get back and finish what Brenton started here. He can't go a few minutes in a video without some sort of poop reference or showing something in a video with or a joke about a wet fart. He can't, and it's unbelievable. I've even left a few comments. Stop with the poop references, critical drinker. And that because all the little minion movie reviewers bow down before the critical drinker, they all start doing it too. Echo Chamberlain, his very highbrow Brit humor, used to love it. I had to turn him off. He can't go a minute or two now without some sort of poop joke or so. It's unbelievable. I'm sorry to even have to talk about it here. Getting back to the main topic related to Brenton's email, in this case, the long list of disgusting side effects that's at the end of every single drug commercial for 30 to 45 seconds or even longer. I've seen 1 minute on the back end of a drug commercial. The front end about the drug, 1 minute, a 2-minute commercial. 1 minute was the back end. Usually it's 30 seconds or so, but I've seen it much longer regarding this list of disgusting side effects. Before we talk about what that's even for, I say this every year, guys, and the old guard, just give me 1 minute. It's too important not to say because it is absolute proof of not milk. You don't need much else to see that there's this thing here called not milk, because when common sense never comes to the forefront, then there's something else going on in this reality. So I've done this before, so I promise I'll be as quick as possible. Say the drug side effects have been listed out in commercials for pushing 40 years. Is there one regular person out there that wants to hear the list of disgusting side effects? Quiet, honey. I want to hear the side effects. Maybe there's like 5 people. For the most part, nobody wants it. Right? Then we're told that senators, congressmen, they want votes. We're told they want to please their constituents. There's not going to be one senator. This is proof of not milk. Say there's not going to be one senator in 1992. I have an idea. I'm going to get votes and put myself over the top for the next election by promising my people I'm going to get a bill passed that says that the drug companies no longer need to list out 30 to 45 seconds of disgusting side effects because this is what my people want. This is like 1992, 1995. I held a town hall meeting with my constituents, whatever that means. And I asked all my constituents, people are going to vote for me. I said, do you want to hear these disgusting side effects when you're trying to eat dinner? Do you want to hear about the condition known as hot dog finger? That was actually an E-Trade commercial. Do you want to hear about projectile vomiting and the condition known as Toro balls while you're trying to eat your meatball sub from Sub? Toro balls, a condition where you actually start to grow the balls of a giant bull. Do you want to hear about that anymore? And everybody in the town hall was incredible. I thought at least half of them would want to hear the side effects. They all stood up and said, we're tired of this shit. So I'm actually going to put a bill through Congress. And then other people want the same idea. Other congressmen, if anything were real about voting and who gets in and who gets out, they would say, oh, you're not going to have that all to yourself because people want that. They're going to have all these people like Senator Schumer and Senator McCain when he was alive attached to the bill so they could get credit for it too. But then they'll be able to come back to their constituents, whatever that means, and say, we got rid of all the side effects. At the end of the drug commercial, they're allowed to say, all drugs have side effects. Ask your doctor, or before the internet, call this 800 number and we'll mail you the side effects. Case closed, problem solved. One last thing, because I'm going a little long. If anybody's trying to throw tomatoes and cabbage at me, well, Matt, it's the trial lawyers that rule. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I forgot. The drug companies like Merck and Pfizer, they have no sway over Congress people, right? They don't sit at the main not milk table. Let me tell you what, in terms of what not milk is really interested in screwing people up, the drug companies, let me tell you what, they have a better seat at not milk table. In terms of mortality tables and life and death, oh yeah, they have a better seat than the trial lawyers. If not milk wanted it to go away, it has nothing to do with the trial lawyers making sure that the list has to stay in there so there's better grounds for lawsuit. Ridiculous. Common sense dictates every single side effect listed in a drug commercial should have gone away no later than 1995. All drugs have side effects. Ask your doctor about them or call this number prior to the internet or actually list a website /side effects and you can get a PDF downloaded in 10 seconds. Case closed. The fact that this doesn't and we still hear this disgusting crap while we're trying to eat dinner, this is proof of not milk. I sat here quietly for a minute or two thinking about something we've never talked about before. Okay, backing up to the absolute basics, at least for now, we know that not milk needs that list of side effects to be in all the drug commercials. What does it really need is it needs the picture, the imagery of those conditions going in to the collective conscious, not just that's going to take the drug, even those that never will take the drug. So the first question, we've never put this forth, the first question is the side effect, in your opinion, actually physiological, physical, pharmacological, whatever the right word might be? Is it real per a chemical, physical thing in the body, or is it psychological? One of the things I was thinking about, the list of side effects is so long and so disgusting. I think most people will come to the conclusion that, oh, if I can just limit my side effects, I'm going to take the drug, but if I just get dry mouth, I just get one or two things, then I'm doing pretty good because I'm not all that horrible list. Lymphoma has happened, all that stuff. I'm avoiding that. So it's almost like to split the difference. It seems like people going before taking the drug, because they've heard about these side effects in drugs for so many years, so many decades. It's like if I just get a few, the condition known as hot dog finger, then I'm not getting lymphoma. I'm doing pretty darn well. It's almost like, is it mainly psychological, or is it physiological, pharmacological? Which is it, or is it both? This is something. See. As we study reality, guys, we see more and more stems from us. Its entire trick is around getting us to believe certain things. Are all those side effects real? Or is the list doesn't it seem like the list of side effects just gets bigger and bigger every year, more and more disgusting? It's almost like it's almost like they don't, maybe there is dry mouth, maybe there is dry eye, or whatever it may, but this huge list of horrible things, it's almost like it's experimenting to a degree to see if it can actually, per the reverse placebo effect, create the side effects where maybe there is no pharmacological, physiological, whatever reason for them to exist. So as we do this, guys, we see more and more of what the not milk does is about, everything it does is about getting people to believe in something where that might not even exist without the belief coming first. All is mind. Okay, guys, sat here quietly for another minute. There's so much here. I could do a 2-hour video and need to in the next month or two just on this one subject, but that's not the purpose of the We Are Gathered Here Today, Dearly Beloved, to get through this thing show. Have other things to talk about. Let me end right here with something we all can agree on. At the most, whatever you believe the reasons are for the 30 seconds or 45 seconds of disgusting side effects, at the very root and base level, this thing here, the spiritual adversary, is out to create a culture of disease, an entire culture of sickness, of not feeling well. And the side effects listed with the drugs and what you expect to get, the side effects you're already expecting when you go to take the drug, that's just one facet of its culture of disease. What did I say earlier in this video? Oh my God, a case of measles. This disease is back. And what was it 3 years ago? Monkeypox. It wants to constantly create, and we'll talk at some other time, why does it want to do this? It's not what Furious said in back to back to the Future. Boys in the Hood. He says, because I want us to kill ourselves. No. It's not about mortality tables and genocide. No. Absolutely. It's about slavery. It's about reliance. It's about no home remedies, no self-sufficiency. If you believe enough disease, you need the medical system. You need their drugs for a variety of different reasons from their perspective. It's not to keep the mortality tables down and they want us to kill ourselves. I'm tired of that truth or nonsense. If you're a giant cattle rancher in Texas, you want to just kill off your entire herd? Or isn't the herd here the collective population? They just, the herd to the cattle rancher, the collective population to the not milk. How about energy harvesting and loosh? Energy, creative beings. They just want to do away with all the people around 2020. And, in 2021, the genocide's going to start genocide. Right? Stop it. Just stop it. Because there's adverse conditions about putting all this liquid in people's arms, and there's some events. That's genocide. Don't get me started on that nonsense again. The collective is the cattle ranch. They don't want to just kill it off. These first-grade truthers need to go away. Sorry, new topic. I don't know how to even present this. I've been holding this back for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's probably a whole video in and of itself. There's something to this. And I'm sorry to the person that wrote this. It's better to err on the side of not putting your name or your YouTube avatar. If you want credit for this, email me or put a comment that this is mine, and I'll give you whatever credit you're looking for. Many people want to stay anonymous. They don't want the attention on themselves. And of course, if it's a comment I'm going to rip into, which is not the case here, I won't embarrass somebody by showing the name, etc. So Pete or something, if you want credit for this, just let me know. It says, the way I see it is that the world isn't just a few years older than you are. It started at the moment of your birth or conception. Everything, your parents, the whole realm, etc., was presented to you as part of the video game, which is our lives. The way I see it is the world, when he's saying isn't just a few years older, I think he's saying isn't just, the scientists would say billions of years old. Some would say, or many Christians would say, between 6,000 and 7,000 years old. He's saying, forget all of that. It started when you were born. Now, Frank, who sends me Frank, I'm still working on your second package. I'm a package behind, my man. And I've got to do a video on your stuff, Frank. Frank would agree with this, I believe, where our own reality, somehow we're able to intermix with other real beings, and incredibly, I don't know how the reality pulls this off. This person would say it. Frank would probably say it. Somehow it seems like we're all sharing the same reality when it is completely unique to you and I. And I'm pulling this back up. This is from Peter, blank, because there's something to this. I've been thinking about this concept for years, but what's so amazing about this comment is it takes the scale right to 10 out of 10. Now, here's 1 out of 10. Let's back up. Here's where we've dabbled in the past, very conservatively. You heard me say things like, the reality is fluid, the world is fluid. Your reality may not be the same as my reality, but somehow we share the same. For example, the Philadelphia Eagles in your reality won the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles in my reality, there's elements that are unique I'm just treading lightly. This is where we are, or where I'm, maybe not where you are. I apologize. Where I am, where at least I've acknowledged there are differences in our reality. I mean, like the best way to talk about it, literal differences. I don't know what words. It's hard to pick the right words for this type of conversation, but it's unique. Yet we share most things. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. What do you call this place where we live? Oh, Earth. Oh, I call it Earth too. So it's like little differences. That's 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10. But usually what happens here, and the old guard can attest to this, is we usually don't go far enough. Matt, you drew out those consecutive concentric ring reality. Well, that's all proven true like 10 times over. And it's more than that. We always start at 1 or 2 and end up going further in terms of what people in the ship of fools would consider crazy. So let's just go all the way. That's what this comment does. He's saying your reality is completely unique. It started when you were born. There's no Earth here for billions of years or this and they saying even your parents. And there's something to this, as crazy as this sounds. Well, how could that possibly be? We share so many elements. I remember the video a few back, Meet Me at the Eagle at John Wanamaker's. Well, I have an eagle. He has. How is it possible it shares it? Well, that's where we probably will never truly know. But most things we start out too conservatively. Oh, it's a fluid reality, and I have some unique things. That's what the Mandela effect is to people. People saying, no, in my reality, I know for sure it was, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate this thing called, like, I played that Purple Rain over and over. I was in love. Were you in love with Apollonia? I was in love with the Apollonia 6. Or the Apollonia 3? Whatever it was. In your reality, it was to celebrate. In mine, it was to get through. And that's okay. They're completely different. The Mandela effect is showing us, is proving that to us. We still have the Mandela effect. Haters are getting triggered. They're getting triggered. This comment moves way beyond the Mandela effect. And there's no way, I'm going to even get any farther along in terms of analyzing what's here than I'm doing now. And I'll look to your comments. But I've thought about this for a long time. And the other thing is, well, if it's your own reality, does that mean your mother and father aren't real? And I think this person would say they could still be real. How does that work? I don't know. It doesn't mean everybody is a background character, and it's solipsism. This, I guess, jumps right to, I call it like a modified solipsism, the belief that only you exist, or at least in terms of proving only you exist. This world is like a modified solipsism. We'll never understand it while alive. It's our own unique reality, but it fools that one of its major tricks of the reality itself, not in this case, not just the creeps and the minions, is to have everyone believe that we all share the exact same thing. So once again, rule of opposites, if you believe the rule of opposites is an absolute axiom of this place, and so far, it's never been violated. Nobody has ever laid forth a comment saying, Matt, this violates your rule of opposites. It's never happened. So why not apply it as much as possible? Rule of opposites. What does this world is a gigantic trick? Remember Norm, the bathtub rebel. He says, Matt, tell me, what part of reality is a trick? And I say through the TV above his bed, above his bathtub, all of it is. So apply the rule of opposites and the fact that all of it's a trick. What is it? What it seems like is never what it is. It seems that we're all in the same reality. If I tell my friend Tony, meet me at the Eagle at John Wanamaker, we'll just meet there. It's all the same for him. It's the same for me. Cheesesteak wit in his reality means wit the damn fried onions, whatever. That's what it seems like. Rule of opposites would tell us if it seems that way, it's not that way. Which leads to something like this. Just came to me. I don't know. You might think this example's complete horseshit. They create these types of scenarios or situations or news stories to actually see if they can create different realities. In a way, they did. Because to this day, there's still books being put out on the 4, 5, or 6 different culprits. That's not possible unless that type of branching reality was intended via this sort of not-nilk experiment. Yeah. Anybody new here? Not-nilk experiment. To this day, you can still find books that are somewhat new, written about Castro's Cuba did it, Bay of Pigs, and the mob, and let's just do the cast of characters again. It was the Fed, that because Kennedy was going to investigate the Fed. Oh, it was the military-industrial complex because he was going to get us out of Vietnam, and it was the mob, and it was Castro, and there's a couple. I mean, I don't know. It was like a gray alien. There's like 5 or 6 different culprits presented in the police lineup. To me, could be a big not-milk experiment because it did create each branching reality. The people that wrote the books about Castro, Bay of Pigs, and its Cuba, and Castro's people that, quote, did it. By the way, if anybody's new here, here's who done it. Nobody. Well, go figure what that means. What happened? Nothing. So if you plant the seeds, we're going to create a whole branch of reality that's going to the people that then are going to investigate the books about Castro's Cuba did it, and they're going to. Do you think they just made those books up? Think there was no evidence? The reality, as the conspiracy generation machine and the reality generation machine started to lay down the breadcrumbs for those people writing the books, taking the idea or the premise that it was Castro that did it, all the reality then started to line up so they could write their books. All the reality lined up to what they believed they would find. There are books about, I guess Bobby was investigating the mob, so the mob did it. How many books are about that? I don't know, 20, 40, 50. The people that wrote those books, they're not just faking it and, here's what you're going to do. He's on my alternative roster. He's going to do the triple Lindy. I'll get it to you when I can. He's going to write a book about it was the mob that did it to JFK, and we're just all going to fake it. And the people writing the books, they're paid and threatened. They know there's no evidence. No, the ones writing the books, there's real evidence. They created this almost like an experiment. And the reality did follow through and create actual, what you would call real-life breadcrumbs. So those were investigating each of the potential culprits in the police lineup found the associated evidence associated with each one. Here's a hint, folks. No real world could do that. When the world is established as fake, it's the best news of all time to you and me. Thanks for listening.